right with you. All right, we're here. Okay, I'm trying to get online here real quick because it's going to be important to do that. Is that a name? Oh, okay, it's the other number. Okay, all right. I was just doing this because State Senator Jason Rapert told me that the governor sent out a kind of a press release today, so I'm checking on it right now, see if I got it. You go ahead and tell us what this is all about.
Well, thanks for having me in again, Dave. It's nice being with you. And I just got a phone call. I haven't actually personally seen this myself. I heard that we're going to have what we've been preparing for in this complete fabrication, trying to blame Arkansas Republicans for federal exchanges, when quite frankly we know that Barack Obama and a Democrat Congress shoved Obamacare right down the throats of the American people. And if you want to blame somebody in the state of Arkansas that's trying to allow federal exchanges, you've got to look right back at the people that have been complicit with Barack Obama all along the way. The fact is, the people of the state of Arkansas begged Governor Beebe and begged Attorney General Dustin McDaniel to stand up for us, to join the lawsuit, to fight this thing. And so from where I stand, you can do nothing other than place the blame for Obamacare right where it belongs, and that's at the feet of Barack Obama himself and every Democrat across this nation in whatever office that they've held, that they were complicit in not standing up and doing something about this. That's my opinion.
Yeah, well, I think that's a true and accurate statement.
So I don't
think there's any problem. Go ahead.
Well, I'm just confused. What do you mean he's blaming the Republicans for these federal exchanges? Isn't this part of their...
well, you got to understand, he and Jay Bradford, of course, head of the Insurance Commission, have tried to get everybody to think that if the Republicans the state Republican Party doesn't get in on moving these exchanges forward, that what's going to happen is that the government will move the exchanges forward, and then somehow this is much worse than if we did it.
If the Republicans signed on board?
Yeah, that would move.
So they're saying it's...
the exchanges then would be...
I see where you're coming from.
They're saying then Arkansas will control the exchanges. No, they don't. You get the exact same laws that govern Obamacare, whether it's called the Arkansas Exchange or if it's called the Obama Exchange. It's the same thing.
Smoking.
Am I right?
Yes, and I'm the vice chairman of the Senate Insurance and Commerce Committee, and I told Commissioner Bradford right out the gate, I said, I'm not going to be complicit with doing something that the people who elected me to the office of state senate told me to do everything I could to oppose. I'm not going to be complicit in this. And he chose to run most of those bills through the House end where a lot of that action took place because he knew in our committee it would go nowhere. But I sat down with him eyeball to eyeball back during the session. And I will give you this. I'm not saying that Commissioner Bradford is a bad guy all the way around. But what I told him is the fact that when you look at this situation, we're expanding coverage at a time when this nation is so deep in debt we can't even see our way out. It is ludicrous to expand programs when we can't even afford the ones that we're paying for now. And he said, but Senator, this is free money. I said, listen to me. There is no such thing as free money. It's the money in your pocket that is being pulled out to fund state and local and federal governments all across this nation. It's our money.
He really said it was free money? Free money?
Free money. Free money. And that's the way they look at it. And it's not
well,
free
of course.
money.
Look at how much government money flows through the state of Arkansas. We've got a $3.5 billion budget.
4.6.
Okay, 4.6 now. All right. So when I got here, it was $1 billion. Now we're up to 4.6 in 11 years. All right. But if you take in the pass-through money, the governmental pass-through money, so this is going to be higher this time. Last I heard, it was about $32 billion. What is it now?
That's close. The last official number I had was about $25 billion when we were looking at the budgets and everything.
Okay.
And that's serious money. And
yeah, I would say so. More to my paycheck.
It's serious money. And look, this in my opinion, This is part and parcel of what's going wrong in the entire nation. Folks, we're deeper in debt than any other society in the history of mankind. $15 trillion in debt. And if you haven't heard it in a while, people say, what's $1 trillion? If you think of it in time, Randy Alexander's got the best thing. 1 million seconds is 12 days. 1 billion seconds is 31 years. 1 trillion seconds is 31,688 years, and we have 15 of these. This is what drew me out of my private life. I said I simply have had enough. I'm not going to sit by and watch this country go to hell in a handbasket and not do something about it. In managing money for a living, I decided these guys need a little help, and you can see even here lately with our Forestry Commission, they need some help.
Well, yeah, and wasn't basically that, being run on pass-through money? Wasn't it governmental money, basically Fed money, that was keeping their head for a while above water?
Well, they ended up going into a trust fund, as they called it, which was federal grant money.
Okay.
And they were borrowing from it, and frankly should not have been. And so, yes, it was federal money in the end that kept them afloat this far. And you know that I talked with Representative King this morning. Senator Irvin has been very keen on this particular issue, and they had about a 5-hour committee meeting the other day talking about this.
Oh, we talked about that on Tuesday.
I'm telling you, Dave, when you're in charge of something, you take responsibility for it. In my business, when something happens there, something goes wrong for a client or anything of that nature, and I don't even have this stuff on a regular basis, but I let it be known, I'm ultimately responsible. We do what has to be done to take care of our business. The same thing here in the state government. You can start pointing fingers and blaming somebody that you've hired to do this or that. But quite frankly, the executive of this state is the governor of the state of Arkansas, and he needs to do what he can to get to the bottom of what happened there at the Forestry Commission. And I hope that what they said about they were trying to put this off till the election was over is not true, because that would be awful.
Well, it seems like, from what I understand, Sarge, the accountant that worked for Shannon, had emails to that effect, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, what I will say on this is that now that you have people in Arkansas state government that's willing to ask the questions, we're not all in this good old boy thing just to get by and go along. And
two-party system, correct.
We have a two-party system. This is what you get when you have people that are actually watching what's occurring in state government. And some are not used to this, but I'm going to tell you what. Next year, the greatest Christmas gift that you could think to give anyone right now is to sign up and register with the Arkansas Republican Party, start learning the issues, learn the records of these people that are running for office, by the way, including my own opponent up there in Faulkner County, learn the fact that when they come home and claim to be conservative but go down there and vote just like a New England liberal, there's no difference between an Arkansas Democrat's action in that regard than a Washington Democrat's action, in my opinion.
Well, they've been all over Obamacare. I mean, their party, the state party, has been all for it, even though the majority of Arkansans are against it.
And people can feel that right at home in Conway, Arkansas. The chair of the Arkansas Public Health Committee, the House of Representatives, is my opponent in this race. She was complicit and orchestrated killing the opt-out of abortion that was put in by Senator Bledsoe. She killed that. And she also fought Representative David Meeks when he tried to get a resolution passed that would say we want to repeal Obamacare, do what we can. This was orchestrated right here in Little Rock, Arkansas, by Arkansas Democrats.
Yeah, and you, of course, had one of your bills killed as well. Flew through the Senate, got to the House, to that particular committee, and it died. Fast.
Well, there was two of them, and yes, they died. And I'll tell you, I believe that when you believe something, you need to put credit where credit's due. My two bills were killed because of a chairman of the House Public Health Committee that is pro-choice and not pro-life. She can say it all she wants to, but she has no actions to back up the fact. Okay? So the bottom line is my bills were dead on arrival. That was orchestrated with the chairman of that Public Health Committee, with Planned Parenthood of Arkansas, and with the ACLU, plain and simple.
All right, when we come back, he brought it up. Planned Parenthood of Arkansas. There's money flowing over into the state of Oklahoma in Tulsa, and for Planned Parenthood. We'll talk about that when we come back. It's 2:16. It's the Dave Elswick Show on KARN.
Remember, wherever